Good morning and afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming into science today. I want to apologize for being out, but I did mention this, and I want to remind everyone about respecting our guest teacher here today. Guest teacher, if you could follow along and pause this video as the screen describes for you to do that, I'd appreciate it. Students, your first task will be to do a J10, Journal 10 entry. You all grabbed a small little sheet of paper on the way in. These are some questions and prompts associated with the video. I am going to ask that you watch the video first, only on its own, and then try and journal after for about 5 minutes. To show that you were able to do this, I'm also going to ask that you either tape or staple the questions and prompts into your journal entry. So, Mr. or Mrs. Guest Teacher, we've got the videos right here, Captain More Plastic, or if you want to use the YouTube version, both will work. At which point, it'd be great if you could go and do that and pause this video that you see on the screen right now. Alright, pause. Hey folks, hope that wasn't too intense and that you're able to go and get a good chance to see what's going on with this global issue. We will be talking more about this when I get back on Wednesday. But at this point, now that you've journaled, let's talk about what you're going to be doing today in class. It's the 23rd of October. It's a B-Day. Keep that in mind, guest teacher. 35th day of the year. Let's see here. Our agenda is pretty straightforward. You did the journal entry, and so I might make the suggestion of doing B2, B3, A3, B4, and A5 in that particular order to work on. Students should be able to help the guest teacher where these folders are and where the supplies are. They'll all be along the windows over on that side, so you might have to go and slide the projector screen up so they can access all the materials. And also, if need be, if you need to refill any of the liquids, they are stored in the back closet back here on a shelf where all the liquids are arranged in a particular order. So that's for the guest teacher only. All right, so a little bit of a heads up. When it comes to the density lab, a lot of you have been doing this already, and you've been very, very helpful. If you're not sure what you're doing or you have a tough time reading instructions, one, read the instructions. Two, definitely go and take the time to do this. Be decent with the supplies. Please return all the materials to their trays that they originated from. Do not mix and switch things. Do not clean any of the graduated cylinders with water and soap that cross-contaminates, at which point the density measurements will be way off. And try to keep things as clean as possible. Be patient, and if need be, you are allowed to use one of the rags hanging from the sink spouts to go and maybe clean up some of the materials, some of the liquids that have maybe spilled or gotten a little sticky in the trays, okay? That is permitted. You can also clean the outsides of both graduated cylinders and beakers, but be careful not to go and let any of the fluids enter into those beakers, okay? So that takes care of the density lab. The other lab people could potentially be working on is the water properties lab. Now, the water properties lab has 4 parts, but I'm going to make the strong suggestion that students only really get to maybe the first 3. That's part A, B, and C. The first part of the lab, you should actually read the lab, but the first part is entitled 1A. And when it comes to this, please make sure that you understand that this is the lab sheet that has all the instructions. And in yellow, or what will be gray on your worksheet, are areas that you need to fill in. But please don't write on any of these. You'll note at the very top they say number 1, number 2, all the way up to number 30, and it says do not write on them. So where do you put your information? Your information will actually go in this worksheet right here. So we've got the B4B Properties Lab answer table, okay? So this is where you're going to put all your answers. So you'll notice here in Lab 1A, number 3 is the first question you have. Well, when you go back to that lab, question 3 is where you have your first required answer, okay? You will need to use a calculator. You're going to be using 10 ml graduated cylinders. They're all on the trays, labeled appropriately for Lab 1A, 1B, and 1C. When it comes to the pennies that you're asked to use, you've got 2 that you need to be aware of. First one here says clean on it, no soap. All these pennies have no soap on them, so this is going to be all for Lab 1A, all right? But Lab 1B has you working with some soap detergent, all right? These are the blue box pennies, all right? They have soap written on the outside of the box, so keep these pennies separated. Do not mix them. Now, when it comes to the soap, it asks for you to put a small drop of detergent on the surface of the penny. That's a little bit too much, so I'm going to make the strong recommendation that you just take one of these, put your finger on the top, flip it upside down, get a little bit of soap on your finger, and then just smear it on one side of the penny. And now you can use that penny on a paper towel to perform the test. Please remind yourself when doing this that the experiment should use your eyedroppers in such a fashion where the eyedropper does not touch the penny. You should be about 1 centimeter away from it when you're putting the drops on. So about 1 centimeter away. If you're not sure what that is, grab a ruler. 1 centimeter away, and never ever let the drop itself on the bottom of the eyedropper touch the actual penny. Okay, that won't give you an accurate drop pour. So now that we've talked about lab 1A and 1B, let's talk 1C. So 1C says water on wax and glass. There's a little bit of predicting I want you to do, but in essence I'm asking for you to go and imagine and predict what the water will look like on a piece of wax paper or on a glass slide, at which point you've got glass slides here. Folks, this is true glass. Please be careful. Do not drop them. If there's any accidents, please clean them up as best you can and let the guest teacher know. And at which point you're going to put the slides back in the box where it came from. And the wax paper you can keep reusing throughout the lab. So guest teacher, if you want to collect these back, that's fine. But at some point the water will start chewing through the wax paper, and that's okay to dispose of these. Okay? Alright students, so that takes care of lab 1A, 1B, and 1C. Again, all answers are going over here on this worksheet. At which point I'm pretty sure that that's fine for you guys to work on. Guest teacher, if you want to leave this up on the projector, projecting the list of assignments in the proper order of B2, B3, A3, B4, and A5, I would make the recommendation that they work on that. Alright, thanks a lot you guys. Have a great day. I'll see you on Wednesday.